Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Judge, one of the ICARE Club advisors. This year, ICARE has partnered with SHIP to spread awareness and raise funds for this important initiative. Last year, some of our ICARE students visited SHIP and were able to talk with Sheriff Craig Apple, Inspector Tom Praisner, and SHIP Overseer Vivian Cornegay. Let's take a look.
How did you come up with the idea for SHIP?
So right around pre-COVID, just before COVID started, we had noticed an influx of homelessness in the area, and we weren't really sure what was going on. No matter what street you went down in the city area or the intersections you approached, there were homelessness, either begging for money, some were aggressive panhandlers, and we're like, geez, here we are in 2020 in the greatest country in the world, and we've got all these homeless individuals roaming around, especially in the state capital. We started to call around a little bit. We knew nothing about housing homeless. We just knew how to house inmates. And we wanted to try to deinstitutionalize it. Listen, it's a county jail. It's always going to be part of the county jail, but we thought maybe if we can get that incarcerated look out of it, it would be better. So we had maintenance come and tear out the bars and put these Luan doors in, and then we started to, kind of research homelessness and realize that one of the most important things that the homeless look for are locks. So we put a lock on each door, and inside each little room is a toilet, a sink, a little television, and a small window. And again, it was a cell. So it's not huge, but it is private, it is secure, and we give you a day or two to kind of orient yourself, and then we want to come up with a plan. Like, what's your goal? What do you want to do? How did you get here? Some have PTSD, some have domestic violence issues, some are just getting out of jail and have nowhere to go. In 2021-ish, 2022, the percent of inmates getting released from either county or state, 66% had nowhere to go. So what's going to happen is they're coming right back. And that's what we were finding. So we started to talk to them when they were getting out and try to come up with a transition and have re-entry here. With the help of Vivian and Tom and Mike and Eddie and everybody else that was participating in building this, we started to get kind of street cred. And they were like, hey, that's not so bad up there. I was in there for a few days, and they have everything up there. And we built the kitchen, and we reached out to, like I said earlier, some nonprofits. And at the time, it was CEFCU. And CEFCU said they came over, and it looked nothing like this. And Michael Castellano came over and he looked and he goes, you know what? I love the vision and I want to help. And he paid for the floor. They put the chandeliers in. They paid for furniture. They helped us start a kitchen in the back. So fast forward, at the time we were housing 30 to 40 men. And I still had 50 cells on the other side that we could turn into rooms. So we slowly started to do that. And then we noticed that there's really an increase in homeless families, homeless moms with their kids. And I'm like, wow, we've got homeless moms sleeping in cars and showering in bathrooms at Walmart and convenience stores. And
what are your future goals for SHIP?
So I think one of our main priorities is to make this a sustainable resource. And what I mean by that is if we have a tough year with finances, the SHIP will still go on. It will still sail, so to speak. And it costs a lot of money to run this. We have 12, 13 full-time employees. We have a couple overseers, such as majors from the correctional facility that come up, an inspector from downtown, myself, some of my administrative staff from downtown. So it's a lot of money to run it. But I think if you look at the ratio as far as how much does it cost and how much are we saving, I think we're ahead of the game. And I'll explain that real quick, because when you go to the county jail, the expense of that is roughly $100,000 a year to incarcerate somebody for a year, okay? And that's food, that's medical, that's housing, it's officers, everything else. So when somebody's here, we can eliminate that $100,000, but people will say, yes, but you're still running this. But what we're doing here is we're teaching folks a skill set, how to survive on your own, how to manage your finances, how to have a checkbook, and how to interview for a job, and how to shop for a suit, to write a resume and to go to an interview. And so most of the men and women that leave here are off on their own in their own apartments. And in the winter months, homeless would go into an emergency room. They tie up a doctor, a bed, and a nurse. And they warm up and they get a warm meal, and they leave. And when they're cold again and they can't find a place to sleep, they go back to an emergency room. So, when you look at that, every time, not only are you tying up valuable resources, medical resources, you're tying up a bed. You see how our emergency rooms are overcrowded and the wait times are extraordinary. A lot of people have a hard time visualizing staying at the county jail, but I think when they come in, they're like, this isn't what I expected. So when those people come in, we want to seize the opportunity and establish almost a trust for this place so it can go on forever. Giving is contagious. Being kind is contagious. When you see that you put a smile on a young person's face or help that elderly woman empty her shopping cart at a local store and you see the smile it puts on their face, I think that's contagious. Humans need to do a better job of helping other humans. And when that happens, you have a greater community, you have a greater sense of involvement and well-being. Judge chili cook-offs and gone to the Pack Fest and gone to your outdoor festivals year after year. And the organizations that you help, I know, are very, very grateful and appreciative to have students involved. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I can tell you there's 55, 60 people in this building right now that thanks you as well.
What has been your favorite part about working with ICARE this year?
All of it. But really, Christmas was unbelievable. What you did for our residents, we can't even express how gratefully one of our residents cried because of the kindness and the generosity of ICARE. The faculty and all of the students, you came through for them like it was really a blessing what you did for them. So Christmas was the most favorite and my most favorite part, and it was because it showed how much you really cared for the residents here and how much it meant to you to give to somebody less fortunate. So from the bottom of our heart, every resident that was here and every staff member, we thank you. You filled our rooms and filled our residents' hearts with joy. So that was my favorite part.
I think having ICARE come over to this facility quite a few times, especially when we did our grand opening, I think that's important because when folks are down and out, they have a tendency to lose dignity. And when you see a bunch of students come in with all smiles, and whether it's hygiene products or food, like the Chili Fest or the pizza night that you guys did, or Christmas gifts, it helps remove that stigma and it helps them restore their dignity and let them know that, listen, they're not judging me, they're not looking at me different because I'm living here. So I think just the general involvement and the fact that you guys come over is a huge benefit for not only us, but for our population here that stays.
Hi everyone, I'm Jada Seaton, ICARE's Vice President. I would like to thank Albany County's Sheriff Housing Improvement Program for their partnership. We appreciate working with all of you this year, and we look forward to all the great work SHIP will do in the future. Remember, ICARE is always available to help and support however we can. Thank you.